Do you swear affirm the testimony you will give today in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please take a seat. Spell your first and last name for Madam Court Reporter.
My name is Cameron Corradi. That's Cameron. Last name Corradi.
Where do you work?
For the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
What do you do for them?
I'm assigned to the Appalachian Regional Drug Enforcement Office, primarily tasked with investigating narcotics.
Are you a post-certified law enforcement officer?
I am.
Were you assisting the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Athens-Clarke County Police Department, and the University of Georgia Police Department in the investigation into the murder of Laken Riley in February of 2024?
Yes.
And pursuant to your assistance, did you find yourself at the defendant's apartment on February 23rd of 2024?
Yes.
Did you assist agents there in collecting cell phones?
Yes, I did.
I want to ask you specifically about 2 cell phones that were identified to you by a resident of the apartment. Her name was Rose Belly. Do you remember her?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she identify 2 phones to you?
Yes.
And did she identify 2 phones that she said belonged to Jose Ibarra?
Correct.
Did you seize those 2 phones?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about your seizure of both of those phones. First of all, were they Samsungs or were they Apples or what were they?
They were Android devices, yes. So they would be Samsungs.
When you seized those phones, did you attempt to keep them powered on and put them in airplane mode?
Yes, I did.
Why do you do that?
We do that to preserve potential evidence that may be stored within those particular devices or any device in reference to the crime being investigated.
Could you, why does putting them in airplane mode do that?
Because devices can be remotely wiped by any individual that has access to do that to that particular device.
So putting in an airplane mode can prevent that?
Yes.
One of the particular phones was passcode protected. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And did you attempt to put that passcode protected phone into airplane mode?
Yes.
How did you do so?
For Android devices, typically, I believe you have to swipe up from the bottom of the device in order to activate the lock feature, which in this case, typically Android phones have a pattern lock as their password. So I would have swiped up to activate the pattern lock and then attempt to put the pattern lock that was provided to unlock that phone.
Okay. And who provided you a pattern lock?
That would be Ross Belly, Flores Bayo.
And the pattern lock that she gave you, did it work?
It did not.
Did it unlock the phone?
No, it did not.
Were you able to unlock that phone?
No, I was not.
Were you able to put that phone in airplane mode?
No.
Did you search that phone?
I did not.
And when you left there, did you leave the phone with special agents at the GBI?
Yes.
Okay. Same question with the other phone of Jose Ibarra's. Did you search that phone that night?
No, I did not.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Questions?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Do you own an Android phone yourself by any chance?
I have in the past. I do not now.
Okay, and I have 2 at one time. My sister does now. Isn't it true that you can actually put phones in airplane mode without unlocking them?
It depends on the device.
But there are certain devices that can. You can put them in airplane mode without trying to get into it.
Sure.
And you do that by swiping down from the top and hitting the airplane symbol?
Sure.
Did you try to do that with this device?
Yes.
And what happened?
I believed it wanted me to put in a password to unlock the phone to put it in airplane mode.
So it would not let you put it in airplane mode from the lock screen?
No, it did not.
So then you attempted to get into the phone?
Yes.
And you attempted to use a pattern to unlock it?
Yes.
And that pattern was provided to you by Rose Bailey?
Yes.
Rose Bailey was not the owner of the phone?
No.
You did not have permission to go into the phone?
No.
No further questions.
Did you go into the phone?
I did not.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Be excused.
Yes.
Thank you.
One more briefly. Special Agent Candace Hunter.
Candace Hunter, Special Agent.
swear affirm the testimony you will give today in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please take a seat. State your name. Spell your first and last name, please.
Candace Hunter, CANDACEHUNTER.
Where do you work?
I work for the FBI in Atlanta.
What is your title?
I'm a special agent with the certification of Digital Forensic Examiner.
How did you obtain that certification, and how long have you been a digital forensic examiner?
I've been a forensic examiner since 2008, and the certification process is about a 2-year process of training, different trainings, both through the Bureau, through vendors, and different agencies.
Are you familiar with Cellebrite Premium?
Yes.
Could you tell us how you're familiar with that product?
We acquired a premium in 2021 in Atlanta to utilize to get into we use it for both platforms now, but into locked phones, both Androids and sometimes occasionally Apple devices as well.
And how many times do you think you have had the opportunity to place a phone on Cellebrite Premium and extract data from that phone?
Approximately 100.
I want to ask you specifically about 2 phones that came to you to be extracted in the case of State of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra. And those were phones that were labeled by your agency, the FBI, as 1B7 and 1B8. Are you familiar with those phones?
I am.
I want to specifically ask you about 1B7. When did 1B7 come to you for extraction?
It came to me on February the 27th, that afternoon.
When you received 1B7, was it locked or unlocked?
It was locked.
What type of phone was 1B7?
It was a Samsung A14,
What kind of lock did 1B7 have?
a pattern lock.
So with 1B7 being locked, could you have searched the phone without Cellebrite Premium?
No,
Why not?
I couldn't get into the device without having some tool to guess the pattern lock to unlock the device. So there was no way to get into the specimen without using Cellebrite Premium. There are other tools on the market, such as Gray Key, but we did not have an Android license for the Gray Key. So the only option I had was Cellebrite Premium.
Was the phone in airplane mode?
No, it was not. I tried to put it in airplane mode upon receipt, but some phones will not allow you to put them in airplane mode if they are locked. And this particular one would not allow me to place it in airplane mode.
So how did you go about extracting data from 1B7?
So first, what I did is I removed the SIM card from the specimen, and I extracted the SIM card in order to obtain the associated phone number for that device. And then I took the phone itself and attached it to the premium for it to attempt to break into the phone.
And did you do these things only after receiving a search warrant to extract data from the phone?
Correct. I met the individual that brought the phones to evidence, I believe around 3 o'clock that day, and they came with the warrant. So I was able to review the warrant prior to.
And when you say break into the phone, what do you mean by that? What happens?
So the software, it has different ways of doing it, and you would have to speak to someone specifically from Cellebrite Premium to tell you exactly how it does it, but it guesses different patterns and different, if it was a passcode, it would guess different passcodes without, like if you just physically did it, there's sometimes you will hit a max password of, oh, you've attempted 3 times, now you have to wait a certain number of times. The software is able to defeat that. So it's able to guess more than just, let's say, 3 times, to guess different passcodes to see if it can get into the device.
When was Cellebrite Premium able to get into the device?
Yes.
And were you able to do an extraction of the phone?
Yes.
when you are extracting data from 1B7, you read the judge's search warrant.
Yes.
Is that right? Told us. Can you tell Cellubrite Premium, I only want you to extract this date range from this phone. Don't extract anything else from the phone. Can you do that?
No, it's a full file system extraction that's obtained from the phone.
And why is that?
Because that's the most complete extraction that we can get, and then the agent or the investigative team can do their review that's pertinent to the warrant to select the items that are relevant.
And may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I am handing you, it may already be up there. Do you see Defense Exhibit 2?
I don't see any exhibits.
I'll give you my copy of it. Oh, thank you. It's probably better to do it. Yes, Defense Exhibit 2. Hand you that document. First of all, do you know what Rubin data is?
Yes.
What is it?
It is basically Samsung's internal information that they are using to keep track of the device itself. So it keeps all kinds of data about the device in order to make it a better user experience for the user. So Apple also has this, but some people are familiar with the Knowledge C database. So it's similar to that if you're more accustomed to Apple products.
Can you go to page 3 of Defense Exhibit 2? I'm sorry, wait, did I do it? Yep, Defense Exhibit 2, page 3. And do you see line 23?
Yes.
Okay, and that's just, it says display on, off, on. Does that mean that someone was physically touching the phone and turning the phone on and off?
Not necessarily. It's definitely not turning the phone on and off. It's the display coming on and off. But there are many things that would cause the display to come on and off. One could be a user picking up and lifting. So you can set the settings in a phone to awake and the display to come on when you lift it. You can set it to just like the screen to flash, or even a sound to come on when you get a certain type of notification. Those are all customizable features that the user can set in the settings, but it does not necessarily mean that the actual person was moving the phone or anything.
What else could cause a display to come
on? Other than lifting it up and notifications and...
So if you have received a notification, like a WhatsApp notification.
Yeah, any notifications, you can set it to come on just with anytime you receive an email or anything like that.
And since 1B7 was not in airplane mode, would it still be able to communicate with the tower?
Yes, well, in this case, it did come in a Faraday bag, which is our way of trying to prevent that, and we do try to put it in airplane mode so that we do try to prevent that, but it also came attached to a charging device, which almost acts like an antenna. So even though you're trying to prevent it, which is the best that we can do, it still could potentially communicate with the tower. So, and
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And then that's why also I went ahead and removed that SIM card to either try to attempt further to prevent those tower communications when I hooked it up to the premium.
And so every time that we see in Defense Exhibit 2 this Rubin data, that is also could be the phone just talking to the tower, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that doesn't mean someone searched the phone, is that right?
Correct. No one could have searched this particular, if we're talking about 1B7, no one could have searched it because it was locked.
And then finally, I want to ask you about Defense Exhibit 1. Were you asked to look to see if there was a particular app on 1B7 called Third Eye Intruder?
Yes, I was.
And may I approach the hand her Defense Exhibit 1? Thank you. I'm sorry. May I have Defense Exhibit 1? Did 1B7 have an app on it called Third Eye Intruder?
Yes, it did.
And what is Third Eye Intruder?
This particular app is made by, the vendor was Ashnatech, and it can be used for a couple of different things, but it will take a screenshot of an individual who is attempting a passcode or to unlock a phone, or I can't necessarily say they were trying to unlock the phone, but something touched the pattern on the screen and then took a picture of the individual. If you have configured it to do that, so it can be set up to do that, yes.
And regardless of who may have touched the phone or tried to enter the passcode into the phone, when the phone came to you, the phone was locked.
Correct.
Okay. And you were the person who had to unlock it.
Using Celebrite Premium, yes.
And could anyone unlock it other than Celebrite Premium? Well, prior to you, I'm sorry.
Possibly the gray key could have, but I can't say that it would have been successful. I don't know because I didn't attempt that.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
That's all I have, thank you.
Right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Agent Hunter, are there other programs besides Cellbrite and Gray Key that can unlock phones, or are those the only two?
Those are the only two in the FBI's possession in our lab.
But there are others that kind of exist in the world outside of your possession.
Possibly. I'm not familiar with any other products.
Is Gray Key able to extract parts of a phone, or does Gray Key also perform a full system extraction?
Full.
And you mentioned Cellbrite Premium. Are there other versions of Cellbrite?
Absolutely.
And do those other versions of Cellbrite extract less than the full file extraction?
Yes.
And I want to talk about the difference between that. So a full file extraction will include data that has been deleted from the phone, right?
Correct.
And in this case, some of the data that was extracted in this full file extraction didn't have a date associated with it.
Okay.
Okay, you didn't review the phone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well then I won't ask you about that. Is the same true for Gray Key? If you do a full file extraction, it will also pick up hidden files?
Absolutely.
Okay, and that includes deleted files?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have any other questions, thank you.
Okay.
Why did you have to use the premium and not just regular Celebrite?
Well, it was locked, so I couldn't use the regular Celebrite, which that's an advanced logical extraction, would have been my only possibility with the regular Celebrite, and I needed it to be unlocked.
Thank you.
Just to clarify though, you did say you're not sure Gray Key may have also been able to unlock.
Yeah, so this gets into a little bit of budget issues, but there's a pricing difference to purchase the Android feature on the Gray Key, and we only have the Gray Key for Apple.
So the reason you had to use Cellbrite Premium was because of government budget concerns?
Correct. We have the premium we use for Androids and the Gray Key that we use for Apples.
Understood, thank you.
Anything else?
Not from the state, sir.